Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Side to Side Sportscast, where it's your boys, Will, Woody, and CJ, and we come to break it all down from the court side, the ring side, the sidelines, and those sports they play outdoors. We outside, we side to side. That's how we ride. And today, we got our boy Les riding with the Side to Side Sportscast, representing the 49er faithful in the NFC Championship this week. Les, what's up, man?
What's up, man? How y'all doing today, fellas, man? Appreciate y'all for having me on today, man.
Hey, man, we appreciate you being on with the crew. So listen, man, we know you're a 49ers fan. You got the jersey in the background, the scarlet red, you representing to the fullest. You're one of my favorite types of fans because your boys beat my boys, and it was embarrassing. You ain't talk 1 ounce of smack to me. And that's what I like about Les, because Les just reps his Niners, man. He don't got no time for nothing else. Nothing else. And I always like that, man. Growing up in Philly, Eagles fans, we could the Cowboys could lose to the Little League Giants, and Eagles fans acting like they beat us, right?
I only trash the fans that need to be trashed, and they know.
There you go, man. Look, selective trashing. If you getting it, you needed to have it. That's how Les roll, and I love it, man. So, tell us about some of your other favorite, your favorite sports teams in any sport outside of the 49ers.
Favorite sports team across the 4 major sports. 49ers, obviously. Lakers right now in basketball. Phillies in baseball, and Flyers. Baseball was my first love. I played baseball up until probably my sophomore year of high school, so I was always a big Phillies fan. Darren Dutch was one of my favorite players. I played catcher up until high school. So that's why I enjoy that for that. 49ers, it's funny. My dad was a Cowboys fan. I love the anguish on his face when the 49ers used to trash him. So 49ers became the faint team.
Okay.
Yo, I gotta say, he's the first guy that we got on the show that threw some respect to the foul line that we got for them sports outdoors. So I appreciate that. I got my gear on today from my man Papi.
Favorite pastime. I love. And we'll get into that a little more into some of the other topics you guys discussed. But baseball is my heart right there.
Man. I love it.
Oh man, that's awesome. I like it's funny. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I naturally get omitted from Philadelphia sports because that is sacrilegious. But I like the Phillies. If I liked hockey, I would like the Flyers too. I love my city. But I accept that they don't accept me because I'm a Cowboys fan.
Flyers, I'm a fan of the hockey Flyers by default, I guess, because I just live in the city. Like, I don't know enough about hockey to pick anybody else.
So, I feel you.
All that I know is fair. That's definitely fair.
Be Flyers.
That's definitely
you
fair.
Follow your city, man. It's city pride. I feel that. That's the same way I am with the Bruins, right? Like, if they're in the cup, like, let's go Bees. Like,
The only thing I know about hockey is they fight sometimes in the puck match the color of my shirt.
That's the only thing I kind of enjoy about hockey is they actually get to fight and they fight and they don't get penalized. I get beat somebody up and I go sit down for 5 minutes. I'm cool with that. I get to cool off. I get to come back. I get to hit somebody else again. And then sometimes I get to hit them and I don't get penalized for it.
I think somebody needs to talk to Roger Goodell. I don't know. There might be a rule change.
It's never going to happen.
So those are fun sports moments.
Reasons being it's never going to happen is a topic for off camera.
Yeah. So, honestly, like sports moments wise, right? Like hockey fights are fun to watch. Like you've been part of some crazy, San Fran games. What's your favorite sports moment? What's the best thing that you ever either witnessed or you watched on TV or whatever? What got you the most excited?
The most excited probably honestly was the most recent Phillies championship. Because I actually got to be at the stadium for most of those games. I was at the rain out game. And then I got the tickets to come back for the other games. So, that was probably the most one because again, like, my cousins say this all the time. There's one thing to be a fan, but it's something else to be a fan and live in that city and then be able to embrace the championship once it actually happens. You know what I'm saying? So that one for me was probably the biggest one. Second was the 49ers one in '94 because I was a freshman in high school and I took a lot of money that day.
Yeah, awesome. Man. You know, it's funny that you bring up the Phillies championship because, like I said, I could never truly claim to be a Philadelphia fan because people see me as a Cowboys fan. But I remember that my job, you know, Easton worked at the job, shut down that day so we could go to the parade. So, you know, I went to the parade and I was out there hyped. That was my first championship parade. I'm like, go Phillies. Ain't really cheer for them a day after that, right? Because if they lose, it don't matter to me. But I was at the parade. That was actually an incredible experience.
So funny thing to coincide with a favorite moment about that, I didn't get to make it to the parade because I was working at the time at a place in Jersey. But Lights Out Lidge came to have lunch at my cafe the following day. So I got to sit and talk with him and chat with him and get his autograph. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I made him a turkey Reuben. So, you know.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, that's cool, man. So on the flip side of the good sports memories, what's some of the most forgettable memories? Like something that happened in sports that you just wish did not happen?
Okay, so first of all, as me and James alluded to earlier in this is the Emmanuel Sanders, the Jimmy G overthrow in that Super Bowl 2 years ago when we had Kansas City on the ropes. That is a very forgettable moment. I forgot what the kid's name is. His dad is in like baseball or something. His dad is like a manager in baseball or something. He used to play for the 49ers when we played the Giants in the NFC Championship that year. They beat the Patriots. I got the picture on my phone still. They teach you this in football all the time. If you think the ball hits you or touches you in any way, you fall on it. This kid on the punt return, they kick the punt to him. The punt hits his foot. He's sitting there like this. And while the ball is rolling away from him, we were destroying New York that game. They could not get past the 50. As soon as they got that punt and got it in our side of the field, lost the game. And then they went on to beat the Patriots, and you know the rest. But our defense was just as good as theirs that year, if not better. So if they could have done that at the time, imagine what we could have done at the time.
Imagine that, man. Imagine that. Y'all would have had 6, and I would have been sick. But hey,
could have had 7 if we don't talk about the Lights Out Super Bowl.
Oh, dang! You know, we gonna talk more about that. Y'all been on. We gonna talk more. We gonna talk more about that, man. But you know, let's talk about the 49er faithful, man. Let's talk about your 49ers. Listen, a lot of respect to Kyle Shanahan and his crew. Listen, that is one heck of a football coach because Kyle Shanahan has always been a good play caller, but he tailors his game plan to the matchup and adjusts when he needs to. And you just have to respect it. That's old school football. That's not over scheming things. That's where I think a lot of people go wrong nowadays. They come to the game with a scheme and they don't break from that scheme. Kyle Shanahan he's old school. I love it. He's like his dad. He's like a modern version of his dad. And you know, you guys got one heck of a coach. And here you are in the NFC Championship. But for you as a fan, what was it like? Because the season didn't start off too good. And now you're the hottest team in football. I think you guys won 9 out of the last 11 games, right?
Yeah. It's pretty exciting for me these last few months. And especially it was kind of exciting because we were on the teeter in those last 2 weeks. So I didn't know if we were going to make it. And then it was week 17, the Saints won and we won. So we had to wait till week 18 to punch our ticket. And then we ended up having to play the Rams to punch our ticket. So initially I was moving around that day and I'm watching from my phone. I say, dang, we down 17-3. It don't look like we're going to make the playoffs this year. That's going to be rough. I'm like, all right, it's cool. You know, we had a couple injuries. It was a rough start to, already making the excuses. You know how we guys do this, man. We're always running down the list. And then I come back to the game like third quarter. Well, 17-17. Oh, okay, it's a game now. The next thing I look up, we won 27, I think 24, something like that in overtime or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's good stuff. We had already smashed them earlier in the year, 30-10. So I'm like, all right, that's good stuff. So we going into the playoffs. We knocked off our division rivals. We owned the division for the most part, even though we were, kind of bad outside the division. We owned the division. So going into the division, that's confidence going in there. And like I said, our game, the way we play, defense and running the ball, it travels to anywhere, cold weather, hot weather, any team, any player. Because if we control the time of possession, we can beat almost anybody. And we've seen that from the first time we played Aaron 2 years ago. Because I was more scared of Aaron 2 years ago when we played him than I was playing him 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because 2 years ago, I'm thinking, man, we ain't going to be able to stop Aaron. And Aaron spent 90% of that game on his back, running away from. And this was Joey's rookie year. No, this was it's Nick's rookie year. I'm sorry, this was Nick's rookie year. So 2 years later, let's go get him. And then we got better players around him. And I'm just getting off topic because I'm about to start talking about the defense. But let's go ahead.
About the defense, man. You know, all it's 3 phases to the game, man.
Yes.
And you know, they all deserve some praise. Because I can tell you that you guys beat us in all 3 phases of the game.
And you guys are the definition.
You guys had Aaron Rodgers on his back, man. And when you get to the quarterback, man, you're getting closer to the W, especially in the playoffs. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It could be the greatest of all time. You get to the quarterback, it's going to be hard for that offense to actually, you know,
move the ball.
Get there, move the ball. Exactly.
The greatest quarterback can't throw blind.
Let's talk about the 49ers defense. Man, that group, they rush 4 and they drop 7. You know, they don't have exotic blitzes, but they are absolutely getting pressure. And, you know, they're covering the flats. They're all over. They're all over. They're a well-disciplined group. And, you know, they're not really recognized by names outside of Nick Bosa and maybe a couple others on the front. But overall, they're bringing it, man. What do you think about them?
On our defensive line, well, we got maybe three first round picks on that defense, and one of them's a late first round pick, and that's Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward is a late first round pick, but everybody else is like Jimmy Ward was like 30th. Everybody else is a second or third round pick, so that's testament to the ownership of the GM, just evaluating talent and picking a good crop of talent and then developing it. You know, most of these guys are developed within the last, 4 or 5 years, 17, 18, 19, and then now they're growing and developing into the players we had fitted them to be when we drafted them. So it's great to see guys like Trey and Fred and Tart and those guys play a little as well as they're playing right now, even to the point to the rookie, and it's crazy for what school the rookie go from, because that was another one of my favorite coaches that we had here, Harbaugh. So the rookie comes from Michigan, so we already knew what we was getting when we got him because he was coached up by Harbaugh. So when he comes in and he's starting at cornerback now and he's holding it down. So, I mean, I like what we're doing. And to pass it off from Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator, to pass it off to DeMeco, and DeMeco picked up right where Robert Saleh left off. So it wasn't like a whole bunch of things where we had to fix corrective issues with penalties and things like that. They already knew the discipline. They already knew the game plan. They already knew what they had to do. So DeMeco just had to come in here, put his own new spin on it, and we just going to continue to work as hard as we was working before. And that's what we've been doing. And I think we've been doing pretty well with it, and I'm excited about it, man.
Yeah, you guys were balling, and you kind of. I was nervous. I was nervous for your defense. I was like, we got Saleh, and I'm not even going to talk about Saleh's defense this year. But DeMeco, like you said,
see that's the tough thing sometimes when like D coordinators and offensive coordinators become head coaches, because I don't think they fully take on that responsibility the same way they took it on before. So they kind of pass it off to somebody, and I don't really think you can blame him as much for that defense. Because I think if he was the defensive coordinator, I don't think they would have had that issue. But I guess whoever the guy was, he just was like. He just really wasn't really committed to the discipline necessary to have a successful defense.
Jeff Ulbrich, we talking to you. All right.
I ain't going about my day all along.
But no, I mean, you guys have had, I would say on both sides of the field. I mean, you guys are literally probably one of the best well-coached teams in the NFL. And
it's
I know
because you think of Kyle, and the realistic, I didn't even want Kyle when they first was interviewing Kyle. I wanted I think I wanted Parcells at the time. I think Parcells was interviewing for the job too at the time, and I wanted Bill because I wanted kind of a hard-nosed coach, you know, that brought that discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like I was mad when what's the his name? We Want Winners. I forgot his damn name off the top of my head. Remember
Herm.
No, it wasn't Herm. No, Herm was something else. We Want Winners was the middle linebacker. Who was our middle linebacker before?
Oh, Singletary.
Singletary.
Right.
Singletary.
Yeah,
So Singletary. So I like Singletary because he was hard nosed. He was just too rough. Like he was like they weren't ready for that type of discipline that he was handing out. Then we got Harbaugh. Oh my God, I loved Harbaugh. Who got it better than us? Nobody. Harbaugh was the guy, man. I loved Harbaugh. And then we went to them two Schlecks after that. And the snitch ball. I forgot what his name, but he turned some tapes in on Harbaugh and then got his job. I was very upset about that because he damn near took the franchise backwards. We were a team that was in the Super Bowl the year before he took over. The next year we were a 3-win team. That don't make sense.
Defensive line coach.
Yeah.
No, he was the O-line coach.
Oh, the O-line coach.
Mayock or something like that. He was the O-line coach. He said
Mike. I think he actually was on our staff last year.
Okay.
I forgot. He was so irrelevant.
Jim
Tom Sula?
Yeah.
Tom Sula, yeah, right?
Yep.
Tom Sula, yeah.
Yeah, he was terrible, man. He was terrible. Between him and Chip, like I said, I didn't want Kyle.
I forgot about Chip.
The reason I didn't want Kyle, because Kyle was responsible for that. I mean, he wasn't totally responsible, but he was partially responsible for that Atlanta Falcons collapse. Yeah. And I didn't want that energy in my building.
You didn't want that energy. I feel you, man. One thing that I like about Kyle, when I look at his resume, not really in Atlanta because they haven't really had a feature run game. I think that team just wanted to air everything through Matt Ryan, and they had Julio.
But that's the thing, though. That year they did have the feature run game because they had
Devontae Freeman
and other kid.
You know what? Kyle Shanahan was part of Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, they had the two-headed running attack.
Yeah, you know what?
But that was the problem. They didn't run the ball in that Super Bowl.
They didn't when they was up. They definitely didn't when they was up. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. But I mean, if you look at Kyle Shanahan's resume, you know, let's talk about his resume. Okay. You know, I started taking notice when he was coaching Arian Foster in Houston. When he was that offensive coordinator. Arian Foster just starts dominating, right? He goes to Washington. You take a 6th-round running back in Alfred Morris. That rushing game with Alfred Morris and RG3, dominant, you know? And then he continues. He goes over to ATL. And now you got Devontae Freeman comes out of nowhere. Tevin Coleman comes out of nowhere. He goes to San Fran. Raheem Mostert becomes a household name.
That's not on my fantasy team this year, but yes.
Well, I'm sorry for that, sir, because I drafted him too. So I apologize to you. that sucked. So he won't be getting picked up again. Sorry, Heem. I love you, bro, but it ain't happening.
There's just some coaches who know how to coordinate the run game.
You can even go further down that list with even Mostert because he's had a bunch of running backs in there. He just keeps him plug and play from McKinnon to Tevin Coleman.
Elijah Mitchell, like
everybody who starts.
Elijah Mitchell is a 4th-round pick. 4th-round picks don't start playoff game, and right now he's the leading rusher in the playoffs right now in the NFL.
Yeah, and just putting Debo back there, you know that totally
Debo's the 3rd leading rusher.
Threw everybody off. You know, just putting D and Jeff Wilson last year when everybody was injured. Jeff Wilson was on a tear, right?
At some point in time, a San Francisco running back that you never heard of won you a fantasy game.
JaMychal Hasty, right?
See? Trey Sermon.
Yeah, like everybody.
Trey Sermon.
We
gonna have to, have a sermon and pray for this brother because he wasn't looking too good this year. He was Trey. He was a little disappointing coming from Ohio State, but you know what? For the 49ers, it definitely looks great. So I want to ask you, Les, what do you think it's going to take for your boys to get number 6 this year?
I mean, to be honestly, I mean, I believe the defense and the running game will hold standpoint. It's going to come down to a timely throw that Jimmy's going to have to make. He's going to have to make a throw because he's going to have to play against either Cincinnati or Kansas City, and those offenses are ridiculous. And even as good as our defense is, with the playmakers they have on that offense, they're going to get some points. So we're going to have to match in some capacity. And I don't know if the running game is going to be good enough to get us 21 to 28 points. So at some point in time, he's going to have to hit somebody on a corner route, a seam route, post corner, something. He's going to have to drop it down.
So I actually have a question for you on this topic, because the last 5 games for Jimmy Garoppolo and Mr. Kittle have just been not good. Not good. We're looking at last 5 games for Kittle. He's put up 13 receptions of 141 yards, 0 TDs. Garoppolo, 3 TDs, 6 interceptions, and those. But the previous 3 games for Kittle, 28 receptions, 325, 3 TDs, and then for Garoppolo, 9 TDs, 2 interceptions. It's just this polarization. It's like they hit a wall in their last 5 games that was just they just disappeared. And it's continued into the playoffs. Is that a concern for you?
I wouldn't say it's a concern for me. Last week was just unrealistic conditions. Like, I don't think anybody had a good chance of catching the ball that week. Like the one pass that he threw to Kittle, well, not the one pass, but the one that Kittle dropped. That's a touchdown if Kittle catches that. But for whatever reason, he didn't even allow his hands to get on the ball. The ball hit him in his shoulder pad first before he even got a chance to grab on the ball. But, I mean, if you guys ever played out there in those cold conditions, you can kind of imagine in Green Bay what the fingers were feeling like at that time.
If they felt
that game, I would call that a wash. The game before that, I don't know. I just don't know. I would say maybe teams are scheming because you got to figure. You got to take Debo and Kittle away. You got to take those 2 guys away to win. So you can't really take Debo away if he's coming out the backfield. So only thing is to do is to try to isolate Kittle over the top, safety over the top, keep him in the box so that he can't get any passes in. Jimmy's not going to force anything like other quarterbacks. He's going to make a throw that he knows a throw that, he won't be intercepted. But if he overthrows it, then that's when we run into the interceptions. Or like he did toward the end of the half when he tried to find Kittle instead of just taking the points and throw that, Hail Mary pirouette throw that he threw. So I'm not really concerned. I think they'll get back on point, against the Rams because, obviously we'll need them against the Rams and it's a division game. So, the playmakers have to show up and play that game. And, it's Debo, Kittle, Jimmy, and Elijah. So they're going to have to show up. So I'm not concerned about them showing up today. And I'm pretty sure, as Will alluded to, Kyle will dial up a game plan to get us to where we need to go against those guys.
So do you think that Jimmy is the guy? Like, do you want Jimmy to play next year?
I want Jimmy to play as long as Jimmy wants to play. But I'm not going to force Jimmy out because as bad as people say that Jimmy is and all the slack that they get him, Patrick Mahomes has like a 788 winning percentage. Jimmy's is like 765. So you like I said, you take that overthrow away from him, and he got a Super Bowl ring, and Patrick don't. And is the conversation different now? I mean, obviously it's not going to be different because Patrick is electric, but is the conversation different as far as we giving Jimmy all this slack now? And I think he only getting the slack because he's not really he's not the gunslinger. But he's a game manager that can make timely throws. And at the end of the day, you want your team, you want your player to win. If he throw for 5,000 yards in the season and y'all go home in the first round, who cares? Who cares?
I felt that too.
That wasn't the first
straight talking to Dak
Prescott. It definitely wasn't. It just happened to come out like that. But I'm just saying, like realistically, like that's just true. That's any position. That's any position. You can have a superstar player. It is basketball too. You can have if your star player scores 50 a game, cool, great. He's getting MVP, he's getting a scoring title, but y'all won 40 games. That didn't help you.
Yeah, right. But see, so how much of that? So you would say that Jimmy is a great game manager? Like, you don't think that Trey Lance could come in and do similar or perhaps better production?
Well, I'm going to trust the coaching staff on this Trey Lance situation, and if Trey Lance can, in the film sessions and in the practices, outperform Jimmy, then Trey got the job, because I obviously know he's more athletic, but he has to have it up here.
Man,
and if he don't have it up here, we can't win. He could be as fast as he want to be, but he might run past something that he could have threw a dart down the field when he could have, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He could have threw it instead of running. And sometimes that's the problem with some of the quarterbacks that have legs, is they run to the legs first before they look at what the coverages are doing and try to throw the ball over the top. And I prefer my QB to throw it over the top. I mean, if you got to run for 3 yards so we can get a 4th down on 3rd and 3, cool. Do that. Extend the drive. But don't go out there looking to run for 150 yards a game. I got a guy for that. I pay a guy for that. I pay you to be a quarterback.
Thank you, man.
Quarter to quarter, you make sure that my team doesn't have his back up against the wall as we go into the next quarter of this game. So be my quarterback.
I said when Trey Lance got drafted, everybody, so Trey Lance going to take over. I said he's not ready for a couple years, because the competition that he played against, he only played, maybe 2 handfuls of college games in his career, right? And it's not like he played against major college competition. We seen when he had his first start, when Jimmy was out that week, he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know. They disguised the cover. He never saw disguised coverage before. He ran the ball like 18 times. And Shanahan was like, I'm not going. That's why I love Kyle Shanahan, because
he's not going to put him in the position to fail.
Didn't put him in harm's way. He didn't just have him airing it out and breaking his confidence. So the longer Jimmy can play, the better for Trey. That's my mindset.
If Jimmy can give 2 more seasons, Trey should be ready by then. And if Trey not ready by then, we'll evaluate it and we'll be undrafted and traded for somebody else to replace Jimmy at that point in time. Me, honestly, I would have took Matt.
Yeah,
I thought that's what was going to happen.
I'm happy about that. Listen, I am opposed to mobile quarterbacks. Period. I would never want there was Lamar Jackson was on the board for the Patriots, and then Bill Belichick took a whole bunch of 2020 hindsight gripe for not taking Lamar Jackson when we needed a QB, blah blah blah. When was the last time a mobile quarterback won a Super Bowl?
It never happened.
It hasn't. I mean, if you want, you can stretch Super Bowl 48 where Russell Wilson, he was a borderline mobile quarterback, right?
That's literally what I was about to say.
But aside from that, that is the one
stats for that year. I don't think he ranks in like the top 10 for rushing QBs.
Right.
Because I think they ran more with Marshawn and those other guys.
They're exciting. They're electric. They can get you to that first down. Like, they can go out of the pocket, make some fun passes like that. But I mean,
it's not winning you games.
Once the mobile quarterbacks start to settle in and learn how to be pocket passers is when they start to win, right? Like Patrick Mahomes, he could run the ball. Like he has plenty of wheels, right? He could run it more than he does, but he stays in the pocket. He's learned how to stay in the pocket or roll out and make the right throw. Like you were just saying, get over the top.
The same thing with Josh. When Josh first came in, he was more of a runner. He calmed down, he relaxed himself, and now he's starting to
he picks his spots now, though.
Sidearm slings like Patrick will be doing, like, because they got a strong arm. So those QBs with strong arm, they can get the ball out anyway. Like they don't have to go conventional. They have a strong arm. They can throw it like this and still get it to the running back in enough time. And you've seen it from Patrick when he do it, and you've seen in that game with Josh when he did it. They were both throwing sidearms, just getting it right under that defender's arm or right, under that armpit so the defender can't deflect it, and that's priceless right there.
I just want to say
coach that.
Oh, absolutely. There's a difference between a mobile quarterback and a rushing quarterback. Well,
right? I agree with that.
Because Steve Young
between a mobile and a rushing. So
Steve Young was mobile. Like back in the day, Steve Young was like looking like Mike Vick. Like Steve Young would roll out. He would end the game with like 50 rushing yards, and quarterbacks weren't doing that at the time. And like even Patrick Mahomes last week, 7 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown. And you don't even look at Patrick like a runner, but he's mobile. But like, you know, I agree, like the Lamar Jacksons of the world, it's going to be hard for them because that's what they do primarily.
Donovan McNabbs, right?
And,
like you choose to run.
Unless that team is built with a legendary defense.
Because like after those first couple of years after Donovan got hurt, he stopped running.
But that's my point, right? Like he learned how to be a better passer. And like
I wouldn't say he learned how to be a better passer. I say he learned how to pass more.
Okay.
There's a lot of balls in the dirt that some people
dirt balls.
You know what? That's fair. That is very, very fair. Yes. Okay. Agreed. But yeah, that was my main point that I wanted to stick with, like, you know, because Lamar Jackson, hell of a talent, right? And like Mike Vick, like those guys are so much fun to watch, but I'm not convinced that those guys are the ones that are going to win you the Super Bowl.
Like me and James were talking about this before you guys jumped in. It's like, you know, when it comes down to it in the AFC, you know, you got Justin Herbert, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Joe Burrow, and then you got Josh Allen. Now,
loaded.
Lamar got an MVP, but if you rank those, he's below those guys considerably because of the fact that he can't pass the ball the way he can pass the ball. All those guys can have at some point in their career a 600-yard passing game with 4 or 5 touchdowns. Lamar will never reach that pinnacle. Like I told James, his best game will probably be a 353 touchdown game, maybe 4 touchdowns, but he won't pass for 400 yards in a game. Like it's just not good.
He had his first 400-yard game this season. This season he was progressing, but it's still got to be consistent. You know,
it's going to be hard because, like I said, he get most of his yards from the tight ends and things of that nature, and he even like how they running the Saints with the slants and then the playmakers breaking down the field. Like he's not putting dots down the field.
Right. Yeah.
He's not throwing 30-yard dots over a cover 2 or something else like that. So and that's the issue. Like Justin Herbert, I watched Justin Herbert sling that thing down the Guyton so many times down the field this year. It was ridiculous. Like 60 yards in the air, touchdown, get it.
It sucks being a rebuilding team in the AFC. I'll tell you that.
So let's talk about your Niners. Let's talk about this conference championship, right?
All right.
You got Niners, you got Rams. Part 3.
ELA, baby.
It is really hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. I mean, it's not like it hasn't happened, but it's hard.
Well, to be fair, they've lost to us the last 7 appearances.
That is quite the stat.
Last 7 appearance, and they're 0-5 against Jimmy as a starting QB since 2017.
That is
and we have a very good defense and a strong run game and a great head coach.
Yeah. So who you got winning for your Niners?
I got the Niners winning.
Oh, obviously, right? Obviously.
Yeah. What kind of question was that?
What do we got for a score? What do we got?
You literally just said 7. Like they won the last 7 straight. Like you just had 3.
I feel like we can win it by 10. I feel like we can.
Okay.
I feel like we'll be close for a good portion of the game, and then we'll do what we have to do in later stages. Of the game
I think
to make it happen.
I think Les is going for a repeat of freshman year of high school right now. Like, you better throw some money on this game. If you think
How confident were you in the Green Bay win?
Once I post this link for anybody who happened to watch this podcast, I'm taking all bets. Turn it down. Turn it down. I already got a few bets in, and I'm taking more.
There you go. How confident were you before? Let's rewind to last week's divisional games, right? Because it was a lot of great games. Every game came down to a walk-off win.
Yeah.
Yep. Every game came down.
That in itself right there makes those games just that great because they were just like cardiac cats right up until that final minute.
Yeah.
Right up until that final minute. Like, especially that Chiefs-Bills game. Like, listen, if you'd have went on FanDuel and placed the in-game bet, you would have been sick. If you'd have placed the in-game bet like a minute left in the game, because you'd have been like, oh, there's no way in the world. It's cool. Kansas City got this. I put my money on Kansas City. Then Josh did what he did, and you'd be like, God damn it. And he's like, all right, cool, I'm going to change it. I'm going to put it on Josh. And then 13 seconds left. There's no way Pat's going to get in field goal range. 2 passes, field goal, overtime. You're pulling your hair out. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself.
It was sick, man.
My hair is thinner today because of that. I'm not even a fan of either teams. I was just watching the game, and it was unbelievable to see 13 seconds, and just to see Josh Allen and Gabriel Davis. Gabriel Davis had a phenomenal game.
Oh my God.
NFL record 4 TDs in the postseason. Phenomenal game. After that last one, it's 13 seconds, and they're hugging each other. You can feel the emotion from both guys. We did it. We came back here. This is the rematch. And in 13 seconds,
listen,
Chiefs,
no, before that was the touchdown when he hit the ball with the move and he made the ball fall.
When he broke his ankle to the route.
And
When he
then
broke his
Tyreek
ankle
come
to the
back with
route.
the peace sign touchdown.
Yes.
That touchdown was crazy. He threw, was that like a post corner or something? He caught him right over the middle. He was gone. Once he made the one ball miss it, nobody caught him.
Milano was in front of him, and he still hit him with the piece. Like, hey, I'm about to blow by you.
Gabriel Davis.
Like, well, that's so disrespectful.
He made a name for himself because like he hasn't been, for the past like 7 weeks, right? Like even in fantasy, the last few weeks of the season, like he was an option, right? He was one of those guys that like you could probably pick off of waivers at the end of the season and put on your team in a flex or something. Like now all of a sudden,
Davis.
He's doing this. He's going over 200 yards in the playoffs. Like,
oh yeah. So the crazy thing about Gabe Davis, I watch a lot of them fantasy shows, and I'm sure you guys probably do. And they had Davis pegged for a breakout year this year. I guess they were about 18 weeks late.
They should have had him pegged for a breakout game.
Exactly. Breakout he did nothing all season, but that game was probably just as good as anything he could have done in the 18 games this season.
Yeah, no, that was incredible. But honestly, that was my big reaction to that game was, hey, is it time to finally change the OT rules? Like I was sitting next to my wife when we were watching the game, and as soon as it went to overtime, I said, "Oh, great! Now we're probably going to change the rules," because I knew for a fact whoever was winning that toss was winning the game. What do you guys think?
I don't think it should be changed because at the end of the day, for as long as we've been playing football, they say defense wins championships. So if your defense can stop that person that gets the ball first, you can win. If y'all can't stop them, sucks to be you.
But here's the thing, though. They
took
changed
the word
the
out of
rules.
mouth.
So we're going to take
the rules
to college and we're going to just put the ball on the 30. This game will never end. Imagine if they kept putting that ball on the 30. Who you think would have lost that game? We probably still be watching it.
This is no. I mean, there's a better way to solve this. There's no
better way. It's either that's the best way. You get 2 opportunities.
Why?
No, but you should have that. You should either have the chance to match. There has to be something else because honestly,
what is
the league?
Okay,
the rules have changed.
So what if this happens? So if you give them a chance to match automatically. So say the team goes down and they score a touchdown and they get the 2-point conversion. And then the other team goes down, they score a touchdown, and they get the 2-point conversion. We gonna keep doing this?
No. Right. Why do we need a match? Why don't we just play another quarter or another half a quarter and have it be decided like an actual football game?
I mean, because the same thing could happen. You can play a full quarter and nobody scores.
Yeah, man, it's sudden death.
Then keep playing. Keep playing football.
That pressure of sudden death. Athletes. I'm sorry, I'm losing the word, but the special athletes perform in these moments. And so with this sudden death pressure that you have on you to get the W, the better players are going to win.
But it wasn't up to Josh Allen.
They're not going to make it.
That's my thing. It doesn't have. Josh Allen had an amazing game, but your defense. Look, the rule is don't let them score a touchdown. Right? Yeah. Your defense has a job to do. It's a team game. It's not a quarterback game. This is a team sport. Quarterbacks get all the glory. I get it, right? It's a team sport. You need your defense. If you don't win that coin toss, if you don't win the coin toss, you need the defense to keep the other team out of the end zone.
No, it's a team game. It's a team game. So the offense should be able to play in overtime as well, right?
They had their chance for 4 quarters. That's why they call it sudden death.
Exactly.
And they had their chance to win.
If you want the offense, it's a flip of a coin. One team is going to get the ball, right? Keep that team out the end zone so your offense can get the ball back. One hand washes the other. This is football.
So CJ, real quick, CJ, before we move to another topic, what would you propose to be a rule? And I got the devil's advocate to counteract whatever you're going to say about what's going on.
All right. So first of all, shout out to baseball. No ties in baseball. You keep playing to some freaking game, right? Am I right, Les? Give me a
man. Let's go, baby.
But no, my solution is play the game until there's a winner. Like, just play the game.
Now, so now we're dealing with professional athletes. Every single one of these athletes is a brand that's worth a certain nominal amount of money.
We're not paying them enough.
You're going to play these athletes until they wear down in this high intensity game that they're playing. 4 quarters
playoff bonuses.
4 quarters already almost killed some of these guys, and from reading the reports on Tuesdays and Wednesdays after they get out of the ice bath. Imagine a guy having to play 6 or 7 quarters of football.
Imagine
get up the next day. The hits and the things of that nature he takes on his body. He might have a 4-year career for playing 7 quarters instead of playing 4.
So I'm not saying this isn't for regular season, right? Like, regular season can have different rules. In these games, like, you can have ties in the regular season. I'm okay with ties in the regular season. End the game, whatever, cool. In the playoffs, you got to win the game. Go out there and play. Go out there and play the game.
Listen, the only thing that you could possibly do, and this seems silly just because I just thought of this in my head as we were talking about it.
Postpone it a week and play it again.
Real silly. Listen, we're gonna leave it up to the kickers. We're gonna put the kickers at the 10-yard line. Every time they make it, they back up 10 yards until somebody misses. And whoever
that's actually not a bad idea.
That's actually a fire idea.
Do it.
That you should send to Goodell.
Like,
here's my thing, because let me say one thing, and this is why I have a gripe with the OT rule. All right. The score, like, every year for the last 3 years, has been the highest scoring year in NFL history. Why is that? It's because the rules have changed. Mm-hmm. The defense, right? Now everything is targeting. Everything, pass interference. The roughing the passer. Defenseless receiver. There are all these penalties that, inarguably, like, you cannot say that has not had an impact on the scoring in the NFL. But so now we've already handicapped the defense, and we're gonna still keep the rule. The rule has not adapted to the era of football in which we are playing in, and I think it's outdated. So if we are gonna still keep it as a sudden death, at least have the deciding factor, not like a coin toss. Have it, time of possession or something that you can control so that it is up to the team instead of just up to a random coin flip to decide someone's season.
But like the kicker thing is fine. Listen, give me your one fastest player on your team, and we'll do a 100-yard dash. Like,
no, that's weak.
I'm saying, like, it's better than giving a coin toss and then, like,
if they ever did that, the NFL will be out of business the next day.
My point is that this is just as much nonsense. We're flipping a coin, and basically whoever wins a coin toss is winning that game. It's like the statistics are there. 11.
But think about this real quick.
Go ahead.
This real quick. Since the rule changed, since the NFL, because sudden death used to be even if you kick a field goal, it's over. But they were like, okay, that's a little bit overdoing it.
Extreme.
If you get a touchdown, it's over. But if you get a field goal, the other team gets a chance to top you, right? And then if they kick a field goal, then the next scorer wins. You're back to sudden death rule. I like this overtime rule because there's not too often that these walk-off touchdowns happen in overtime, right?
Because
it's 90%
only one time.
of the team.
90% of the best of the best. So
that win the coin flip, win the game, but it's not always a walk-off on the first drive. That is not something that has happened routinely. It happened in this game, and it's upsetting because it was such a good game. And you want to see Josh Allen get the ball again.
Anomaly. You got two of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. So it could have went either way. If either
but that happened to
Patrick
too. That happened to Patrick too against the Pats.
Like
it was the same thing
either way with any one of those guys. You know what I'm saying?
But
like
I'll say this:
ball first, he could have went down and scored.
Fans get enamored by certain players, and I truly believe this. I say it and I stand by it. If we were watching an overtime game between the Rams and the 49ers, and Matthew Stafford had a walk-off touchdown in the overtime, nobody would be saying they wanted to see the 49ers get the ball for another drive because Jimmy Garoppolo is the quarterback. So all of a sudden, the rule doesn't matter. People care about the person. That's why we're having this conversation.
That's
people wanted to see
people have been complaining about the OT rules for years.
So that's
for years.
The NFL.
They were complaining about it with the tie between the Steelers and the Lions. What are you talking about?
People don't want to see ties, but the walk-off touchdown is not a tie. That nobody's been complaining about that until now. People don't want to see ties, and I get it. I understand that.
They have the game, right? It's just louder. It's louder now than it's been before. This has been a conversation that
it has been a conversation, but it's not going to change. The NFL is a business, and that business is selling entertainment. And what's more exciting than a walk-off touchdown or the possibility of walking off a touchdown? Even that field goal thing that I suggested, that is not exciting. If you're sitting up at 12 o'clock in the morning and you've been watching this game all night and they start kicking field goals, you're going to be asleep. You're going to see the results on SportsCenter in the morning. Like,
how about this?
They're watching a field goal battle for the next 30 minutes.
They want more football. Everybody wants more football, right? They're even talking about adding more games, right? More games. Why not do a full extra quarter of overtime? And then if it's still tied, guess what? You guys got to play again next week, and we're pushing it back.
Next week,
you play per quarter, and then you play per quarter. You got to win.
I want to say this: if they did let the game be a full, I kind of like that idea, CJ. If there was a full overtime, like maybe not a full quarter, but maybe like an 8-minute quarter, right? Maybe an 8-minute quarter, and then if it's tied, it's sudden death. First score wins in that second overtime. Because somebody got to win the game. And if you can't win the game in 5 quarters, you deserve to be in sudden death, right? So that actually, to me,
you're supposed to win the game in 4 quarters. That's why there is a sudden death.
I'm with you. I'm still of that thought. But I'm saying if something had to change, that would be like a compromise.
This is a compromise where not the walk-off touchdown, but maybe when you score a touchdown, if you convert if you get a 2-point conversion, then the game's over. Like you gotta be able to at least stop them from getting the 2-point. So if they don't get the 2-point conversion, now the other team can come down and score a TD and a field goal to win the game.
So
teams will play conservative. They will just kick the field goal and rely on their defense to stop the other team, just like the other team had the opportunity to do it.
But that way, both teams have a chance. Because if you're conservative and just kick the field goal, now the other team can come down and they can go for 2.
So you guys realize that no matter what we do, 5 years after we do it, it's going to be unacceptable and it's going to need to be changed again.
Exactly. That's why they shouldn't change it, in my opinion.
But what do you mean? But error has changed. The game has evolved past this rule.
It was the sudden death with the field goals. That wasn't good enough. So now we change it to the sudden death where first touchdown scores now. Now that's not good enough. So now we're gonna put it on there. Okay, we're gonna have to play a full quarter and then a sudden death. Then that's not gonna be good enough because then the team that lost and that sudden death gonna feel like they were slighted in some type of way. So now we're gonna do a full quarter and then we're gonna do the field goal. And then we're going to do a full quarter. Then we're going to do the field goal touchdown. And then we're going to be doing 2 quarters. And then we'll be doing 3. And then next thing you know, we'll be playing football for 3 weeks.
But as long as rules keep changing in the league, all rules should be up for grabs. Because if the game evolves past a certain rule, then we got to change it. It's not like every rule has been the same for the last 20 years. And now
you know what they should do? You know what they should do? They should do like how the NBA do with two-way players. So when we get to overtime, if somebody played a certain number of snaps, they can't play anymore in overtime, and you got to bring in the backup and make it work.
Yeah. So right before we talk about this week's matchups, I do want to say this: if they did play a full quarter in overtime in the playoffs, and then after that is sudden death, somebody would get injured, and then there would be a massive cry. So I agree. There's never going to be
that's what I'm saying.
Mass peace about what happened. It's always going to be a trendy topic. But I know you don't want to see an overtime game between the 49ers and the Rams, because you already said the 49ers are going to win that game, right? So we know how you feel about that game. I want to hear Woody and CJ. What are your thoughts on this week's matchup in the NFC Championship between the 49ers and the Rams? Who you got?
This is my moment. This is my moment. I'm pretty excited because from the start of the season, I said one division was the best division in football. CJ knows. And what did Will Gaddy said? He said, the Niners, they're overrated, man. They're not going to be in contention. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to eliminate my Cowboys in the wild card. They're not going to do nothing. What are you talking? The Niners now, it's the AFC North. And don't get me wrong, the Bengals are
don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say nothing about the Cowboys. When I was talking
obviously,
I never predict my Cowboys to be good. So don't put those words in my mouth, because anybody that knows me knows that I watch the game by game.
I never predict my Cowboys.
I want the Cowboys to be good, but I'm not sitting here preseason saying that the 49ers aren't going to beat the Cowboys, because I didn't even know they were going to have a match. So now you can factually finish your statement.
Okay, well, you slept on the Niners. You were showing all these videos of Stafford throwing picks in practice, right? Disrespecting the Rams, and who is still left in the NFC West? Not the Seahawks, who you were hyping up. It is none other than the 49ers and the Rams, representing the best division in football, the NFC West, as I've been saying all year. So the validation is there. Now, here we are.
Best division in football for a few years, too.
It is. It has been, and it might continue to be so for quite some time, because I don't see any team falling off. As long as Kyler Murray gets his head on straight, hopefully they fix that in the offseason.
He going to have trouble. He too
got him some nervous.
A lot of trouble.
But with this game, unless you brought up some interesting stats, right? Like 7 straight losses. Kyle Shanahan has owned Sean McVay for quite some time, right? He has been the master splinter to McVay's turtles. You know what I'm saying? Like, just that boss, the owning. But you know what? The pressure. Sometimes when you have coal and you just squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and put that coal under immense pressure, what is left is a diamond. And there is no team in the NFL right now that has more pressure to win, sacrificing their future. The future is now than the LA Rams. I think the pressure, they are finally going to avenge a series of ineptitude and get the win, beating the 49ers for the first time in years and proceeding to the Super Bowl. That is my pick.
I'm going to let CJ comment, and then I'm going to retort to you if I
can. I was on the same hype train.
Come on, hold me down, CJ. Outdoor sports, CJ, hold me down.
I wish I could. But I just think this is a different animal right now. This, it's not going to be easy for Debo or anybody in that backfield to run on these guys, I don't think. And you're going to rely on Jimmy G, like you said, making big throws.
No, not big throws, kindly throws. No, not big throws.
Okay. All right. Let me rephrase. I don't have any faith in Jimmy G throwing, period. So unless they're going to Bill Belichick style against the Bills, throwing 2 passes, I I just do not see this game going well for the Niners. I honestly think that they've got a good defense, but man, this Rams, I'm just too sold on Cooper Kupp and Stafford, man. I'm too sold on that offense right now. And they got Cam Akers back, and every week that he's back, he's another weapon in the tool belt for them. So
as long as he doesn't fumble 3 times a game,
that's know what? Exactly. Yes, true.
Listen, my 4th round pick hasn't fumbled yet.
Let me make my pick. Now, I give the Rams a lot of credit for getting to this point, the NFC Championship. I always figured it was going to be a good team, right?
Are you about to pick the Seahawks?
This is not a good matchup for the Rams. Now, hear me out. This is not a good matchup. You want to talk about me posting Stafford throwing picks in camp? Well, guess what Stafford did when they lost 31-10 against the 49ers? He threw 2 interceptions, right?
Oh, I got stats.
Turn the ball over twice. Hold on. Guess what Matt Stafford did when they were beating the 49ers the last time they played and they lost 27-24? He threw 2 interceptions. Anybody who has watched the Rams lose, there is one reason when Matt Stafford is uncomfortable. Sean McVay is a master at picking apart the blitz that comes from the outside, but he has no answer for pressure that comes up the middle. And Matt Stafford is super uncomfortable when you pressure him up the middle. And the Rams have not proven that they can stop that yet. So it's going to take the Rams trying to figure out how to keep that 4-man rush out of Matt Stafford's face, because they don't just come off the edge. They do stunts and come up the middle. And the 49ers are not a blitzing team, but I promise you for this game, they're going to surprise. And you might see Fred Warner coming up in the middle with some extra pressure. I don't think the Rams are going to let this game – this is going to be a close game. It's really going to be close. It's not going to be some Rams have all this momentum and this pressure and they go blow out the 49ers. If they do that, I'm wrong. So be it. It won't be the first time, right? But I don't see that happening. I think this is going to be a close game. And you know what? I just don't think the Rams can beat the Niners. So I got Robbie Gold kicking for gold, going to the Super Bowl to lose.
That's what I'll say. Appreciate you. So, real fast before I retort to your interesting stat. So, last 2 playoff games for Stafford, 586 yards or 568 yards, 4 touchdowns. Okay. The 2 games against the 49ers, 486 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 picks. See the difference? See the difference? He's throwing the same. I'm sorry, he's throwing the same stuff. 568 and 486 are very close. You take those 4 picks away, those are the same numbers. 568 and 4 touchdowns, but he's throwing the 4 picks against us because we're giving him that pressure, as Will said. And the pressure is going to continue to come. So I appreciate you, James, for riding with me, because you ain't got, you've been riding with the Jets for a little while, so your evaluation talent ain't the greatest. So that's cool.
I'm not the one making the picks. I'm not the one drafting. I'm saying in Gang Green. I'm talking about. I'm not the one that created the Jets roster.
But you realize that the front office sucks, and you still keep riding with them.
Yo, all right, Les. We will. I think we can all agree on this point. In sports, it is tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. It is tough to do that, and if you can,
tough, but it's not impossible.
No, certainly not impossible.
Last time I seen it happen, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Eagles twice and then beat them in the playoffs. So I'm just saying it has happened.
Once you understand what a team does well and you can game plan to take that away, I mean, you can beat them every single time you play them, realistically, because at this point in time, the tricks that they can pull out are minimal. There's no new tricks. There's no new tricks. Now, you got a shiny new Odell. We seen that. He ain't did nothing with it.
So, Les, who you think winning the AFC game between the Bengals and the Chiefs?
I like Kansas City because I just like, based on that game that Pat and Josh had. I don't know if Joey can elevate to that level just yet in the second season. He may, because like I said, he has some talented playmakers on the outside. So with those playmakers that he have on the outside, Mixon, Boyd, T. Higgins, and that kid Jamar Chase, sheesh. Like, with those guys, it's possible, but I don't know. I'm going to
have to agree with
Kansas City's defense considerably better than Cincinnati too as well. So I don't know, man. But
I'm going to have to agree with you. The Bengals are good. They're going to be good for a long time. They're young in all the right places. And if you look at that game last week against the Titans, Joey got sacked 9 times. And not all of the sacks were just on the offensive line. He didn't throw a touchdown. And he threw for a lot of yards. He made some good throws. So it's easy to say, oh, this boy is rolling. But that game was really gifted to the Bengals because of Ryan Tannehill's ability to complete passes to the Cincinnati Bengals. Right?
Like Patrick. You see Patrick done scored 21 points in 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes.
It's going to be hard, man. I really think the Chiefs are going to, right their wrongs from last season. And I don't think the Bengals are going to be able to keep up with the Chiefs. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game that the Chiefs are going to win. So
I would definitely go for the over.
Yeah, I would go for the over too.
Definitely go for the over.
So with the NFC game, I think that's going to be one score. Whether it's 6, 7, a field goal, I think that's going to be one score. This game, I would actually be shocked if it is.
It's crazy because I would honestly take the over on the NFC game too. It'll still be a close game, but I would still take the over. I think it's 30 points or something like that, or something like that.
Is it 30? Oh,
wow. Let me look at it. Let me look at it real fast.
That's pretty low. Because I was about to say, I don't know.
No. But I was looking at the over though. It wasn't too far off of what the other game was, and I see that. Like I said, it's a playoff game. For them coming off last week and being in the snow and not really being able to get any points up, I think they might come out this week and just light it up.
I don't know if I want Jimmy and light. I don't know, but I will say that the Chiefs are about to smack the Bengals, I think this kind of goes back to what Will Gaddy was saying before about quarterbacks. Everyone loves them, right? All they're cool, all that. And Joe, I feel like it's clear he's gonna have a bright future in the league. But Joe Burrow, the entire Cincinnati Bengals organization, they are not ready to face the dynasty that is the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know.
Not ready for my homeboy, as they call him.
Yeah, my homies, they'll be doing their thing. I don't think this is gonna be close. I got 38-24. That is my prediction of the AFC Championship.
38-24. Okay. I'm going to have to go 38-31. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that. I think Kansas City will pull off late. If anything, maybe it'll be 42-31. They may pull it out late, but I think it's going to be close for a good portion of the game. Because like I said, they're playmakers that they got over there, and I'm pretty sure they're going to draw up a game plan to get those playmakers loose and into space. And if they can do that, and then you also got to figure if what's the name's going to come back and play because he got hurt last week. Honey Badger.
Yeah.
And if he's not playing,
the Bengals haven't even scored 30 points yet in the playoffs.
Yeah, they haven't. So they do.
So I don't know. I don't think this is the game. I truly don't.
If you take Honey Badger out of that defense for Kansas City, I had to change my pick.
Well, the Bengals did beat them 34-31 the last time they played at the end of the season, but this is a whole new ball game. It's the game before the Super Bowl. I think the Bengals have a lot to offer. I just don't think they're going to be able to get the job done. CJ,
I honestly am. I hate to continually agree with Woody, but
it's just I'm saying facts.
I thought it was going to be. I think it's going to be a 2-score game, 38-27. Somewhere around that range too. Kansas City just has so much firepower. I just think there's going to be too much. And Burrow's going to give him a good run with his offensive weapons, right? We've seen those 3 receivers that he's got. Even Azuma's been catching balls for him.
And then you still got Joe back there in the backfield.
They got Mixon. They are a quality offense, a solid defense, but it's just, much like I just had to fold to the Rams in what I believe is just ridiculous offense. I just have to fold to the ridiculous offense that is the Kansas City Chiefs. And that, frankly, if it's KC, LA Super Bowl, That's going to be one hell of a show. I'll tell you that. Right.
Nope,
That
that's
is
not gonna be a
one
show
hell of
because LA gonna get the brakes beat off them because they ain't gonna be able to keep up with KC neither.
So
Well,
what is your sorry? We didn't do scores for the NFC. Can we do scores for the NFC?
Like I say it could be the same score it was last time, 24-27.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm going with 19. No, it's gonna be. I'm going with 22. No, 22 to 17.
What are you talking about?
He's making up numbers, man.
Yeah, what?
He's making up numbers. He got a fortune cookie in front
I'm
of him.
going.
The 49ers going to be kicking a lot of field goals. I mean, they are going to be kicking. Goal going to make them. They're going to kick them. Oh, okay.
I think it's 24-14.
24-14 Rams, you're saying?
Rams, yes. Of course.
All right. My written score here is 24-21, so not too far away.
24-21, yeah. It's going to be a close game, right?
And so what did you have? 22 to 17?
I had 22 to 17.
Oh, 17. Oh, okay.
22 to 17.
Will said 1 to 5.
It's going to be 19. It's going to be 19 to 17, and then the 49ers are going to get one more field goal. Stafford's going to have a chance to come down, get a touchdown. Last drive, he's going to look like he's about to be a hero. They're not going to make it. That's my prediction, right?
Okay.
But now let's end today's segment with some wings and things, man. Let's talk about some of what's saucy in the sports world today. What's mild, what's medium, and what's hot. And I got to start us off with talking about some super mild sauce. And this has been mild for a long time, right? Now, you ever go to Whole Foods or anywhere and you see like wings behind a glass, and you're like, oh, man, they look kind of good, right? Obviously, they cold and they heat them up and they say spicy, but when you eat them, it's just not spicy. They sold you something that it wasn't because your level of spice is different. So what's mild in the sports world? I just gotta say it's you, Jerry Jones. Ever since 1995, man, you've been the GM de facto when you got rid of Jimmy Johnson, who was bringing in the talent. You've been doing it your way for 27 years. You have 4 playoff wins and a slightly above 500 record. What GM gets to keep a job with that fail record? None, unless the GM is his own boss, man. Now, you be selling these hot wings every offseason. Oh, man. One time, you know what? You know when I stopped listening to Jerry Jones? When Tony Romo got hurt and Brandon Whedon had to be the quarterback, and Jerry Jones looked in the camera and said, "You'll never see a better passer of the football than Brandon Whedon." Now I know you a salesman. I'm a salesman. Game recognized game, man. So I stopped listening to you. I love my boys. But I hate the way you manage the team. I hate the only time the team is good. The only time we were hot sauce is when we had Jimmy Johnson, who had control of everything. The other time that we were hot sauce is when we had Bill Parcells, who built a team out of nothing. And then you got rid of him when the team became something, so we didn't even get to take that team to the Super Bowl. Then you had Cupcake Wade Phillips. You had Cupcake Jason Garrett. And now you brought in yes man Mike McCarthy. Why, man? Why are you doing this to us?
Do you think this segment is Hear Me Out?
Cowboys,
I think
right now.
Yeah, we're doing wings and things. This isn't Hear Me Out. You know, I don't.
But they're mild right now.
Will gets real.
He's very passionate.
About his wings. About his
I guess so.
Like you don't want to see Gaddy at a Hooters table, right? And you give him the mild wings, and when he ordered the hot, let me tell you,
he's going off. He's going off. If you give him mild wings at that Hooters, he is going off.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
So staff beware, because unbelievable. Hear him out, Jerry Jones.
You shouldn't be ordering mild wings. If you need your wings mild, just tell them don't put no sauce on them.
Ain't no sauce on them boys, man. 4 playoff wins in 27 years with the same GM. That's mild.
Well, go give us some mild sauce, Les. What's your mild sauce?
Oh, me, my mild sauce. Whew, sheesh. Gosh, I didn't know I was getting a topic. I thought I was going to debate on somebody else's topic.
Oh, that's all right. I got you some mild sauce right here.
I had to say mild sauce right now for what happened in the sports world today. It's kind of mild, but I wanted to talk about it. Sean Payton stepping away.
He's
gonna be in Big D next year. I might like that. We'll see.
Pause. But I definitely
because it's kind of like breaking news, but then it's kind of like, well, like what? Why? Just why all of a sudden now? Like what happened that? And for me, as soon as I seen him retire, he was like, man, damn this! I'm not going back into the season next year with Jameis Winston. This ain't happening. I go hang out with my kids for all that.
Well, the cap space is hard. Like they're the worst cap in the league.
I'm not like you're not going to send me back out there with Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill and ask me to win 10 games again next year. No, I'll go sit in the studio booth next to Drew.
Hey, there's actually a legitimate reason why this is happening, and it's behind the scenes. And Florio just released a report. In 2019, Sean Payton was going to be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. The owner of the Saints is the owner of the Pelicans. And as soon as Anthony Davis requested a trade and they agreed to trade him, they went to Sean Payton and said, we cannot comply with this request to be traded any longer because we need somebody to hold the city down when we lose Anthony Davis. So Sean Payton signed the extension. He did what he wanted to do. And now he's backing away so that he's going to be not a free agent, but a tradable asset. He's taking a year off. And watch, it's going to happen in 2023. The Cowboys are going to trade a draft pick for him, and they've
been saying that for Dallas. I keep hearing those rumors
but there's actually fire to the smoke. Now, I'm not saying he's going to save the day. He's going to save Jerry, but I'm just saying that's what's going to happen.
If he can come in there and do what he did in New Orleans, he should be able to at least get you a couple playoff wins. Championship, I don't know, but you got the talent. You got the talent.
I just want to see it. That's all. I just want to see it.
So he got the talent. Like he won the chip with Michael Thomas and Drew Brees. So,
well, I'm gonna say my mild sauce right now. I need to take a deep breath and just inhale the sweetness of these wings because there is no spice to it. Well, aside from last game where Mr. Jason Tatum decided to pour in 51 points out of nowhere, but good. Hort, that is the most
empty 51 points ever.
I can't express how tangy and unspicy these wings are, and they were displayed as fire sauce or like Diablo coming into the season, and then you taste them and you're like, nope, there's no nothing to these. I mean, this guy is averaging his career high in minutes per game, a career high in field goals attempted, a career low in field goal percentage, a career low in 3-point percentage. He is just increasing the amount that he shoots and decreasing the amount that he makes. I'm not going to go into a hear me out segment. You started to get the high pitch, Craig. So I'm going to tone it down. I'm just going to tell you right now that I don't enjoy these wings. They're a little bit too sweet for me. I like to send them back and throw some habanero in that sauce.
Okay, send them back, man. Send them back. Wow. Well, Woody, man. Woody's wings. What they looking like?
Yeah. So mild. I think these wings are pretty mild. You might disagree, but the Last Dance was one of the most talked about documentaries of its time. I think everybody who watched it enjoyed it. It definitely showed Michael Jordan to a generation that might not have known too much beyond a couple of YouTube highlight videos or whatever. So it's a big deal, and MJ, in my opinion and others' opinions, is the GOAT. So if you're gonna post, the Last Dance and say that that's about to be what you're gonna do, then you might as well win a playoff game. But this boy Aaron Rodgers is a bum. B-U-M. The man, oh my gosh, I can't even remember the last time that he actually had a run in the to the Super Bowl. I mean, we obviously all know right when it was, but I'm saying it's been a decade. Last Dance, all that hoopla, all that drama in the offseason, and you couldn't even get them one win. Aaron Rodgers, you're mild, man. You are mild. You are not Tom Brady.
Wow.
A-Rod, mild sauce.
He's got an 11-10 playoff record in 16 seasons, so I'm gonna have to say that it's pretty mild.
Wins against those guys.
Man. But
those guys, no wins, no playoffs against those guys. 0.
Let's step it up to something that's a little bit more flavorful. Let's talk about some medium sauce right now. Now, I'm gonna just go with the standard buffalo sauce, not like the spicy buffalo sauce, but there is one player in the NBA who is super under the radar. And since the Christmas games, when a teammate of his went down, he stepped his game up tremendously. And I am talking about Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers. You got to give this man some credit. Since Ricky Rubio went down, he is averaging 20 points and almost 12 assists per game. He is the de facto floor general. He's averaging just under 20 and 8 for the season, but he has elevated his play in the year of 2022. And the Cleveland Cavaliers are reaping the rewards of it. I mean, they won 7 of their last 10 games. They're actually playing really well. And I got to give Darius Garland some credit. You're a little medium right now, man. Keep balling, you might get hot. Got to consistently do this.
I'm a piggyback on that medium sauce because I was unprepared for this segment. I'm gonna give it to the coaching staff for that Cleveland Cavaliers team because they've been cooking all year, and it's very surprising. Very surprising. Like I said, even before Rubio went down, they were competing, and nobody's seen that coming. Like they've been drafting well. The kid Evan Mobley turned out to be a great pick. That trade for Jared Allen has been, it's been great. Like when they traded Jared Allen, I'm like, why would you get rid of him?
Yeah, that was
you don't give away. You can't teach size, and there's a very limited number of good quality big men in the NBA, and I'm just not giving away one that I can trust. You want to give away? I give you Hassan Whiteside. I give you a JaVale McGee.
JaVale.
You know what I'm saying? You can have them dudes a dime a dozen. You want a Derek Favors? You can have him too. I'm not giving him a Derek Allen.
Derek Favors.
He's too young. He can do too much at that age. I'm just not giving that away. Especially, imagine if Jared Allen was still in Brooklyn right now. How good they'd be.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But hey,
Jared Allen, all of those people were still in Brooklyn that they traded. It's like with
the 3-7-foot offense, you got Jared Allen, you got Mobley, and you got Lauri Markkanen playing the small forward, and him and Mobley alternate. That's Cleveland, and you got Darius Garland just running the show.
And they probably got Lauri, and I don't even remember what the trade was. They probably got Lauri for peanuts because they were trying to get him out of Chicago.
Yeah, they did a sign and trade with him. So yeah, that's a good coaching staff to call medium right now.
Good stuff.
So I don't want to go next just yet.
You sure? Hey, CJ, is all your wings going to be in the Boston area?
No. I haven't mentioned the Celtics in quite some time because they're an embarrassment.
Oh my God!
And I get the rabbit holes that I can go down. When we talk about painful, I'm a bigger Celtics fan than I am Red Sox, Patriots, Bruins, whatever. Basketball's my team.
But with Red Sox, you don't got nothing to be sour about anymore.
No. Hey, listen, dude.
Since the Red Sox game, y'all been rolling, dog.
Even in bad years like last year when we weren't supposed to be good, we're making it to playoffs and making things interesting. So I have no complaints over the Red Sox, but my Celtics, I'm upset. I'm upset because I thought that they would eventually be able to figure out the J&J situation, but I don't want to.
So this is the problem with the J&J situation.
Oh, we about to talk about. Oh, okay.
No, nothing wrong with those guys, but you had Brad there last year, and Brad was working through that process, and then you move Brad to the front office, and then now you give that to somebody else, and then they have to internally figure that out themselves, and it's not that easy.
It's not.
Brad had been working on this for years.
I listen. That's why it's a mess right now, and there's no easy fix. So, but I don't want to go off.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to save our viewers from this Boston.
This is
diagnosis over here. And I'm gonna talk about my medium.
No. Hold up. I got a medium though.
Oh, I thought you said I could. I thought you said you needed some time. Oh,
no. And then Les poked me and was like, "Yo, you should go." Like, all right.
okay. All right.
So medium. So my medium sauce, right? That's getting a little bit spicier, and something that I'm looking forward to a little bit is this NBA trade deadline, right? Coming up in early February, because things starting to heat up a little bit. We got a lot of things that could be, adjusting in the scheme of the NBA, like big names. So, like, not only Ben Simmons, right? Like, is he gonna go anywhere? Or are they just gonna holster him? Harden's talking about testing free agency already, like halfway through the season, where this goes to the trade deadline. What are you doing? Like, you've got John Wall and Westbrook names being thrown out there. Like, what team are the Lakers going to be buyers? Are they going to be like, trying to pick out different pieces and bring somebody else in? Are the Celtics going to keep the Jays? Like we were just saying, like, there's a lot that can happen, right, in this NBA climate, because there's so many teams that are like on the cusp of being a playoff team. And maybe upsetting somebody, or I just feel like there's so much action that we're going to see within the next week and a half from the NBA trade deadline approaching. So that is my medium.
Okay.
Woody's wings. Woody's wings. I feel like
that's a food truck right there.
Yes, sir.
I feel like medium wings are like they're interesting because some people actually prefer the medium, right? Because it's like, I can't really handle, my stomach, if I eat hot sauce, hot wings, I'm on the toilet. So, they prefer the medium. Yeah. And other people are like, nah, come on, go big, go home. Like, it's a real preference thing. And I think there might be no player in sports. And I know from a media perspective, it looks like, it's like 99-1, but I think, from a player and definitely a fan perspective, there are definitely different preferences about probably the most polarizing player in sports right now, Antonio Brown. And he is making his own campaign right now to join the Baltimore Ravens, which is actually pretty interesting because Lamar could use the help.
For real.
So if you're John Harbaugh, who is one of the league's, he didn't look like it this year, but he's definitely inarguably one of the league's best coaches, a nice character guy. Are you going to take on that challenge? Is the risk, worth the reward of potentially having someone who not only is going to help Lamar look better on the field, but his cousin, has been, the wide receiver one over there. And, I think this is, someone who can mentor him, hopefully on the field as opposed to off, and, kind of get him to the next level physically. Because Hollywood Brown does have talent. He's just, obviously, he's not that guy, but maybe AB can help him get there. So I don't know. It's a preference thing. Some people are like, nah, I don't want anything to do with medium wings. But other people are like, I mess with the medium. What's going on with AB? That's my medium wing.
Hey, that's a good medium pick, but them medium wings may be undercooked. And when you eat undercooked chicken, it messes you up. You might
throw it up and send it back.
He has been undercooked chicken on every team that he's been on. Like the crispiness is right, the flavor is right, but when you bite into that thing, you ain't right. So that's AB for you. That's AB. Now I'm going to talk about something that's really right now. And if you want to talk about what's hot sauce in sports right now, I am going to have to give it to the team that is 46 games into the NBA season and the only team in the NBA with single-digit losses. We talking about them Valley Boys, the Phoenix Suns, baby. Let's go. The Phoenix Suns have 9 players on the team that average double digits. DeAndre Ayton has missed 22 games. Book has missed 7 games. Crowder has missed 7 games. These are starters, and they continue to rack up the wins. Hey, Les, don't you ever say nothing about JaVale McGee anymore, because I love my McGee.
Listen, I
on the
love
Phoenix
JaVale.
Suns. Hey, McGee averaging 8 boards off the bench, and the reason why the Lakers can't win another championship is because they just let him go for no reason, right? And he give you a quality 20 minutes every time he's out there, right? He is no longer Shaq and a fool. And I could go on and on and on, but the Phoenix Suns are hot. They are the best team in the NBA right now. Chris Paul hasn't missed a game. 46 games in, he hasn't missed a game, man.
You better knock on wood. You better knock on wood, Mr. Daddy.
It's something about the Phoenix air, and I never want to call my team as in going all the way, because if I call it, it's not going to happen. That's why every time I make these picks, I'm always wrong. Sorry, Les. I picked the 49ers, but I'm usually always wrong when I make picks. But
pick the Rams.
I'm glad you finally said it.
Woody picked the Rams, so it's going to balance out.
That's why it's going to come down to a field goal. But let me not take the attention off of them Valley Boys. The Phoenix Suns balling, not falling, and it's looking really good. It's looking really good in the NBA right now. The best team in the league for sure.
So, since we on this side of the Side to Side podcast, we're gonna keep all our hot takes as a home team situation. So we're gonna stay with these young. We're gonna stay with these young fellas right here. You know what I'm saying? They cooking right now. Like my man said, 9 out of the last 11. You know what I'm saying? This guy right here, historical numbers on the receiving and rushing end for a player at his position.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna keep this train going for another 2 to 3 weeks. And then if y'all see me partying in Santa Clara, y'all already know what it's about.
All right.
Your team win the Super Bowl, you got to make it out there to the parade.
Listen, Niners are a good hot sauce right now, right? Niners are a good hot sauce, that's for sure. Now, I got an interesting one for you, and I am so glad. It makes me so happy that Les is on the show, and Les is a fan of baseball. I can't stress that enough, because obviously you guys see the gear. We got Ortiz made it right into there we go. That's what I'm talking about. He's elected into the Hall of Fame this year. Okay, this is my hot sauce, because the MLB writers have gotten it wrong for 10 straight years in not allowing Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens into the Hall of Fame because they took steroids.
And my man Pete.
And Pete. But I'm talking about steroid era, because if you want to focus on that, MLB writers, guess what? Everybody in that era, we're calling it the steroid era. So they played against guys who were taking steroids. They also took steroids. As far as I'm concerned, it's a level playing field. And as far as I'm concerned, you're keeping out 2 of the best players ever in the game because they were a part of this. And then they were the few that got caught because they were the most popular and they were doing the best. So guess what? If you want, I would bet any amount of money that Ricky Henderson took steroids and he is sitting comfortably in the Hall of Fame with all of the glory and his accolades. But you know what? We're not on Hear Me Out. I'm not going to go in on that. I'm just calling a hot sauce because guess what? Papi is in the Hall of Fame today. Congratulations, Big Papi. That's awesome. Well-deserved. Great career.
If anyone was wondering, who made that post on IG, there was your answer right there. So congratulations to Big Papi. But no, Hall of Fame induction, that is the ultimate honor in any sport. So congratulations for real.
And the only one in this class. He's going.
Well, that'll be quite the ceremony. But if anyone has seen this segment before, this is actually my favorite segment. It's Wings and
3 for 3.
If anyone's ever seen it, Woody's like, oh, okay, all right, he has his picks. But yeah, we're talking hot. Will Gaddy already knows who it is. There's literally only one answer. You want to talk about Hall of Fame? The best player on this team is already a Hall of Fame. I don't care what anybody says. The man, the boy, the child is already a Hall of Famer. I don't care how many more rings he gets. He's probably going to get one this year. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be close. But I'm talking about the Kansas City Chiefs for the 3rd straight time of Wings and Things. They are the hottest thing in sports. I mean, Josh Allen and the Bills, they have a great team. That was about 13 seconds. That's all we need to say. 13 seconds. All right. Thank God that my wife was watching that game because 13 seconds, that's all we need. Holla at your boy. I'm telling you right now, Patrick Mahomes and those boys in Kansas City, Andy Reid, how many Hall of Famers are on that team? We don't know. We're going to figure it out. But right now, they are the hottest team in the NFL. They are going to run over the Bengals, okay? They're going to run them over. And then for the NFC, I don't want to disrespect anybody. So let's just say Kansas City, hottest team right now. Let's go. That's my hot sauce for yet the third time.
Hey, man, if I had to pick a favorite player outside of my favorite team, it is hands down Patrick Mahomes. He is literally, to me, almost like what he's just like he's writing his story of being the GOAT. I know, Tom, I'm just saying he's uber talented. I love Patrick Mahomes. He's definitely high. Woody is 3 for 3 with Kansas City on wings and things. So the NFL season is going to be over soon. When we get to the next wings and things,
never bet against the streak.
We don't know.
Woody, you might as well become a Chiefs fan, Woody.
Yeah, we don't know if Woody's wings will be predictable, right? Kansas City got some good barbecue, and Woody's wings, they need to put that flavor out there. Right? But, hey,
take that Woody's wings truck down to KC, dog. Andy will buy some.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Les, we want to thank you for coming on the Sportscast tonight, man. This was so much fun. We went 20 minutes over what we usually do.
This,
but it was a great time, man. We got to have you back on again. We'll definitely have to coordinate that. But, hey, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to our boy Les. We thank you for watching the Side to Side Sportscast. And you already know, we want you to hop on the Sportscast with us. Call it how you see it. Call it how you saw it. Call out those who didn't see it how you saw it. Let us know about your squad, what's going on in the sports world in your mind. We want to hear about it. But for now, we out. Big D next year. I might like that. We'll see.
Pause.